Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this afternoon, I'm joined by Shelly Barratt, who's from Coya Marketing and also Ale Trails, based in the north of Wales, but doing some trails in the south as well. And we're going to have a little chat about business and networking and all those sort of fantastic things. And how are you doing today, Shelly? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. A bit windswept, but I'm fine. It's really windy.
Oh, is it? Yes, it's very wet and windy here today as well. I'm in the Welsh Valleys, so it's always wet and windy, pretty much.
I'm in North Wales, which is near, if you don't know, near Chester. That's where I'm near, on the border.
Okay, good. I haven't had anyone from North Wales. I have had one person from North Wales on my podcast, but not my podcast and YouTube channel. He was on early, a guy called Gavin Preston. He's a business consultant and he's based in the north of Wales. But Ian in the
Where
south.
is he?
Where's
he based?
I'm not sure where he's based actually. So, because I met Gavin in events down here, and he's a business consultant. Actually, in fact, I think I probably met him originally in the London Business Show or in the Bristol Business Show. You know what Welsh people are like when they're not in Wales? They always find and seek each other out. And I met him. I think I met him in the London Business Show first, and then I've seen him in a couple of events in Cardiff more recently. But I know he's in the north of Wales somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. I know his dad's got a business in Cumbria way, I think, in the Lake District, like a Regis type business park, hot desking type facility, and he's selling.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little plug. Anyone know? Give me a ring. Maybe I'll be on it. But so being in the south, we don't tend to mix too much with the people from the north. I always think the people in North Wales tend to mix more with like Scousers and Manx and stuff. The north of England, don't they? That's where the north of Wales is full of people from Manchester and Liverpool and stuff, isn't it? From my experience.
Yeah, because it's really easy. It's really easy for me to get to Chester's 10 minutes. To get to Liverpool, Manchester, it's like 20, 40 minutes, not much at all. So it's easy.
Yeah.
Like the transport's easy, but for us to drive to Barry Island, bloody hell, it's like 4.5 hours. And that road system's archaic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Herefordshire, we go
I've driven on a bus through Wales to North Wales. I went up to support my ex-brother-in-law as he played football for Cardiff, and he was playing Bangor, and we went up all through the middle of Wales. And then every time I've ever gone to North Wales, I've always just gone into England, up the M5, and then across again.
Yeah. I travel down quite a bit, but I go through Herefordshire. That's the main way I go, and it's a bit of a killer, isn't it? And I never look forward to it.
No, I think they could do with making a better road. I think somewhere in sort of maybe to the west. Yeah, to the west of the Brackens, sort of like Neath Way upwards, up towards, what would that be? Probably Rill or something like that. Somewhere.
Like a flight from Harden to Cardiff, because Harden's not far from Wrexham and Chester, and that would be quite good. That'd be 20 minutes probably.
If I was in charge of Wales, I definitely link the north and the south more. I don't know why the Welsh government don't. There used to be a flight from Swansea to Anglesey, I think, or to somewhere northwest Wales. But I think it's stopped now. But I think
it still goes. I think you can get one from Cardiff, I think, to Anglesey, but Anglesey is quite away for anybody, near Chester, for instance. The counties of Denbighshire, Flintshire.
So I think North Wales and West Wales are quite. Day-to-day life, there's not much interactivity between the two.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's geographical, isn't it? Like you guys probably do a lot more with Bristol.
Yeah. We would do more with Bristol and the southwest, and you would do more with Liverpool and Manchester. And in fact, there's far more people from England in North Wales than there are from South Wales, and vice versa. You don't see too many people from North Wales in South Wales. If they're going to venture out to a big city, they'll go to Liverpool or Manchester.
Exactly. But you know what? I've just set up a new Facebook group, and it's called Holiday Ideas Wales. And I'm trying to get people from all over Wales to say what you do as a local, where you go. Because it's either, when you think about the honey pots, you think about a Zip World, you think about Snowdonia, think about Barrier Island, don't you think? And I was like, but there's so many people live in Wales that have the most amazing things to do on their doorstep that doesn't cost money, because, you know, we've all been hit by COVID in some way, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I set up this Facebook group, and all you do is you write where you've been, where you've cycled, what you've seen, where you've canoed, or where you've taken a dog for a walk. It's really good, but we don't have many people on it from the middle. So we've got quite a few from Cardiff, Penarth, that area going up, and then there's a big gap, and then there's the north is fine. So I need to get more people from your area, so people from the north can go on holiday.
Yeah, well, I've actually got a website called tourism.wales, which is about...
Have you?
Yeah, which is it's a private version of Visit Wales.
Private version. Hey, did you watch that spoof of Visit Wales? Did you see it? The comedy Wales is Brilliant or something. What was it called?
I think I've seen it advertised, but I never watched it. I wanted to watch it because I'm into tourism and stuff. But I think I've seen it advertised, but I never watched it. But yeah, the Tourism Wales site is aimed at being basically like Visit Wales, but for the companies that can't get on Visit Wales, because you've got to be a certain size and you've got to be able to jump through the hoops and the red tape and that to get onto Visit Wales. And so Visit Wales is there to pull out, if you like, the gems of Wales, the big tourist attractions, and attract people from abroad. Whereas Tourism Wales, to attract those people from abroad, but also the people in Wales and from the rest of the UK, but they want to find, you know, the untrodden paths, if you like, you know, the unusual stuff and something a bit different, and get off the beaten track, all that sort of thing. And I'm pretty good.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you, because when you, like, if I went to, I don't know, say name a place near you that you live near that's beautiful.
Somewhere like somewhere that's beautiful. I know loads of places. I've just got to hone in on somewhere.
Just one place. Where do you live?
I live in Gwent. I do. There's a place.
Let's say Gwent.
Well, yeah, Gwent's a bit of a challenge because Gwent's quite industrial. It's very sort of. It's very. Well, there's a lake, you know, up by me in Oakdale. Oakdale is a lake which is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So say I went to holiday, I went to see family, and I went to holiday in Gwent, and I go on to Visit Wales. There's nothing that's small.
No,
is there? You can't find anything. And then
Forest Drive.
So yeah, that's what I want to know is where you go, and I want to go and follow what you're doing. You know, I don't want and I don't want the big places to go to. I'm not interested. I want to see what the place is like, really.
I live in Gwent, and so I don't do so much in Gwent, because Gwent is quite, out of all the valleys, it's the one that's, I don't know, it's much more industrial and very terraced streets and stuff, and it has got some lovely parts to it. Stradiga's got a lovely boat, like lake, and you can walk around that. But I'm from Cardiff originally, and so I'm used to going more M4 corridor. So I'm more used to going to places like Barry, Porthcawl, Penarth, Cosmeston, Roos, St Athens.
Ogmore,
Ogmore. And then I found more recently as well, what's it called? Begins with A. Just like Port Talbot with the beaches. Aberavon.
Oh yeah.
That's really nice, yeah, and I like the Mumbles, Swansea, and that. So I'm more because I'm from proper South Wales, not the valleys of South Wales. I'm from the south of Wales, the industrial heartland. You know, so I'm familiar with. I'm from Cardiff, but I'm familiar with, you know, Newport, Chepstow, Bridgend, Swansea.
So can you join my group and then put your stuff on my group so people can see where to holiday?
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. Promise. Yeah, what's the group called again?
HolidayIdeas.Wales. It's a Facebook group.
HolidayIdeas.Wales.
We just had some dolphins spotted yesterday. It was some posts up of dolphins.
I tell you where I used to spend quite a lot of time as well as a kid is like Tintern Abbey and sort of Simmons Yacht and all that. Do you know all that area? Was you coming down from there, passing Monmouth and Monmouthshire?
That's where I want to know. I want to know where these areas are, because when you think where am I going to go on holiday, you think Greece, Spain, but we've got some amazing places that we need to.
Amazing, yeah. And then also Tenby. I spent a lot of time Tenby and Pembrokeshire and St David's and all sorts of South West Wales. That's all beautiful. Fish guard, you know.
Yeah. But what I find is if there's nowhere like massively commercial, like a zip wire, then the area doesn't get promoted. So you don't know about it. So when you think about where can I go, they don't come up because there is no website, is there? You've got to know what you're searching for. And that's the whole thing is, where are these places? I mean,
also,
it's really busy, isn't it?
Yeah, but also you've got to be prepared to travel. So, for example, people in Cardiff are very similar to, say, people in London. They don't go out of London because why would you? Like, you know, everything I need is in Cardiff, for example. Like, yeah, but I'm from Cardiff, but I've always been a rep and I've always driven to lots of places, and I'm adventurous anyway by nature. So I go and push myself out and go to places that are off the beaten track. I'm interested in exploring and finding some. And I'm into variety and innovation and uniqueness and stuff. But, you know, I know plenty of people in Cardiff, for example, that, you know, they'll only have gone to Penarth, Barry, or maybe at a push, Port Talbot, you know.
Do you know what we should do? Do you know what we could do is I create your holiday and you create mine, and I go down south and you come up north, and we do each other's holiday.
Yeah, as a video, Instagram recorded and give you alternative experience.
Yeah, you can see because then I'll tell you what I like, you tell me what you like, and then I'll say, right, okay, I think you should do this walk, you should do this swim, this wild swim, you should go to this restaurant, you should stay here. Yeah.
Or I give you a guided tour of the holiday in South Wales, and then you give me a guided tour of the holiday in North Wales.
Yeah. Yeah, all those things. We need a complete swap holiday, don't we? So
like a house swap or a life swap. You know, they do remember that program? They do wife swap or.
I'm not swapping wives.
No, but they remember that TV program, you know, where they swap each other's lives.
I know, but they always try and find some aggro, don't they? And it's always like, oh God, well, we don't want that. I don't like this place. I don't like this place.
Yeah, but I think don't they normally in one of those they normally swap like the wife swap one or the mum swap one, whichever one it is. They'll normally swap one from a middle class family and one from a working class family, and usually they'll put the wife with like a husband, like she'd be a smoker, and she put him with a husband who don't like smoking or something. You know, they antagonize it purposely, like, you know, because. You know, they
want their pound of flesh, don't they, on TV?
Yeah,
always.
That's what you go on that program for, isn't it? Because you're going to give up your pound of flesh for other people to sort of mock you on or whatever. That's what most of them are
about. It's a bit like Four in the Bed, isn't it?
Yeah, I like Four in the Bed. That's good. But they're all in it for the gameplay.
Well, yeah, I think what happens is the recording of it, they say, what do you think about this? What do you really think about this? She said that, what do you think now? It's like that, isn't it? Okay, cut, we got that piece. That sounds provocative enough. I hate them!
It always depends on if you're first or last or whatever, because if you're first, you haven't had enough time to upset anyone, but by the time you're into 2, 3, 4 episodes, everyone's upset with each other, and once you start giving a bad score or not very good score, everyone's just licking their fingers and running it across everything looking for dust, you know.
I think also if you're you have a really cheap place, a value budget place, and you've got a really expensive place, you're never going to win because they're going to think I am not paying that money. Are they?
Yeah, that's it. You've got to be in the middle somewhere, you know. You've got to have, or anyway, they all change their prices for the program anyway. So the real price, they go in at wet Monday in February pricing.
Yeah, that's where I'd send you. This is your B&B for the night.
Thanks. Yeah. This is a lovely part of North Wales. It might be a bit windy, and you're in a tent, and it's peeing down with rain.
In a slate mine. The slate mine in Blaenau Ffestiniog, it's very rainy.
Yeah. I think they're doing I'm a Celebrity in Wales they're talking about in November or something. Is that in North Wales or Mid Wales?
Yeah, it is. It's this big amazing castle, and it's been bought and sold, and then it's been bought as a trust, and they're trying to do it up, and they've been opening it bit by bit, and now you can see all the cranes and stuff sorting it out. But what are they going to eat in the woods? What are they going to eat?
They'll probably give them lava bread.
Yeah, and they're like that. Oh, eating it.
Welsh, maybe some Welsh toads or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think, like
Brown house spider.
the jungle, it's all like kangaroo balls and now. What's like a delicacy from Wales? What are Welsh animals?
Oh, do you know what it is? It's called what they call sheep balls, testicles. What they called
Yes,
fries, lamb fries.
Yeah, sheep balls and what's it? Red kites is the bird of Wales. I found out the other day in a quiz. I didn't know.
Oh,
We got
well, there's osprey up there, but I don't think you can eat them. I think I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
There isn't many. It'll be like, I think it'll be eyes, and it'll be like bull's eyes and stuff, won't it? If there's such a thing. I think it's probably heifers, but
there's definitely
frogs.
a bullseye. I've seen it on the darts.
Some of them. They're going to be freezing, aren't they? It's like, oh, it's going to be miserable. At least in Australia, like, oh, it's hard.
Yeah, they did have one. I remember seeing one series where it did rain non-stop for quite a while. So it'll just be like that series basically. It's bound to rain.
It'd be like that. Yeah, I can't imagine it being quite so glamorous.
No, but there we are. So tell us a little bit about the marketing that you do and the ale trail that you do, which is sounds fantastic.
So Ale Trails is an event, it's a one-day event, and what happens is you get on a bus and I take you to, well, I don't drive personally, because that would be horrific. I take you to small, independent, rural pubs that are off the beaten track, so you wouldn't know to go there. Usually it's a man and wife that run them, and they have really good ales, and obviously all the other drinks as well. But yeah, and that's what we do. We take you there and you have a little mini festivals in each one. You can jump on and off the bus, it's a circuit. The whole day. It's just a really nice event, and we do them all over. We've got 25, and we're up in Cheshire, up in Aberdeen, and we're as far down as Cardiff, and the Vale of Glamorgan. So we've got quite a few. Yeah, so it's good fun. It's nice, and it's you'd think it'd be raucous, but it isn't, because it's a mature way of getting together with your friends with the transport sorted. You don't have to drink and drive.
Yeah, definitely. How many people are normally on the bus, and what does it cost?
Most I've done is 1,200, but we usually keep it to about 1,000 for the day, because obviously it's spread out. It's not all everybody going to one pub in one day. So yeah, anything, yeah. But I quite like them around about 500-600 because it's quieter then. It's nice. It's steadier. Yeah. I think it costs 20 quid.
There's 500-600 people in the pub.
Not in one pub. So if you've got 10 pubs,
okay. You put some in one pub, some in another, and then rotate them round.
Yeah, that's how it works. It's just, so you can stay in a pub, or you can go, you do what you want to do. So it's just a day with meeting up with your friends, having a drink and catching up. So always loads of singing on the buses as well.
Good, yeah. And I imagine once they've had a couple of, if they've stopped and had a pint in each of the 10 pubs in rotation, then on the way back is lots of singing.
Not many do the 10, because that's quite an achievement to get the bus timetable right, to getting everyone and leave when the next bus is coming. Come on, everyone, we've got to go quickly. Yeah, so you don't really do it to go to 10. You normally look at the best pubs that you want to go to, and where you're going to meet your friends, and where you're going to eat, in which beer garden you want to go to. So you plan it so you know where you're going. Yeah, 10's a bit of a struggle. To do them all is a struggle, because you've got to be Jedi on timetables, and no one can read a timetable. No,
and no one likes rushing a pint, especially you.
No, exactly.
The first one or two, but
this is here.
You want to rush them after the first one or two, But,
no, when you get there and it's a really nice venue you've not been to, you just sitting around. You don't want to go. It's a day out, isn't it? You're not like it's not an excursion.
Yeah, and how much does it cost roughly? Depending how much, what's the range?
To arrange it?
No, what's the range in price?
There isn't. It's just 20 quid a ticket.
Oh, it's just 20 quid. It's just flat rate. Well, even if you go to, you said you go to Aberdeen or whatever, that's just a bit more in petrol there.
Yeah, well, it's not me driving, so it's okay. Yeah, it's 20 quid in Aberdeen. 20 quid everywhere. Apart from Snowdonia, it's 15.
Oh. That's very reasonable.
It's meant to be reasonable. It's meant to be it's not meant to be a big cost. It's meant to be easy. It's transport. It's fun. No hassle. It's meant to be just get your friends. No bells and whistles. These are the pubs. Let's go and have a drink.
Yeah, good. And yeah, 500 or 1,000 people though, that's quite. You have to have a number of buses, I guess, and quite a it's quite a feat to try and herd those people around, especially after they've had maybe two or three drinks. Your umbrella just blew over.
It's really windy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. You have to do it. Like from first of all, it was a nice idea and it was good fun to do. But as you get more professional in what you do, you have to put things in place, don't you? And so you have to make sure. So I can't do it on small numbers, or I could do it on small numbers if I made the price really big, and that's not the value system of it. It was meant to be, cheap and cheerful, get round. It's not expensive to get round. If you've got a taxi, it costs you 50 quid. But if that's what it's meant to be, it's not meant to be about thinking, oh god, I can't afford it. You're meant to be able to go, it's not, I can do that.
yeah,
I can get transport, I can get to the pub, and I can have a couple of drinks.
yeah,
It's not like going to Alton Towers from like it's 50 quid to get in. I'm gonna have to spend 50 quid, and it's meant to be easy and for everybody.
yeah. Well, it sounds like a really good thing to do with your friends. For your
Yeah.
birthday or something. Maybe for the day before going into town for some food and another drink in the night or something.
Yeah, I get lots of 50 birthdays. They organise them in a different location, so they'll come from Yorkshire to Snowdonia, for instance.
Yeah.
And it's like 3 people are 50, and they bring all their friends, and there's a big crowd. Or I had a group from the Wirral who were dads and lads, their sons, I think it was. They all came. Just It's always really nice.
Session.
Yeah. So it sounds when I talk to you about ale trails, people think they're like a massive piss up, and it's just raucous, and it isn't. It's because it's all about I suppose the communication and spending quality time. That's what it's really about, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And tell us a little bit about your website, etc.
The website's Real Ale Trails. That's where you can buy the tickets from, and you can see where we go. And you simply buy a ticket, and then we swap a ticket on the day for a wristband, so you can get on and off, and you won't lose your wristband.
Yeah. Okay. So then they can plan their own route within your route, if you like, as we talked about. So they haven't got to rush and do the whole route. They can do whatever route they want to, and
they can miss out.
Yeah. Sounds really easy, and it's got obviously all the different pubs on there, so they can sort of check which pubs they want to go to first, and they got a profile and what activities there are in the pub and all that sort of thing.
So they can go on their own if they want. They can just decide to go there one day, and from a point of view of economic lift, the pubs always see an increase afterwards. Because people say, "I've never been here," or "I haven't been here for years. I'm going to bring the wife back," or "I'm going to bring the family." So it's all about cooperation and showing people, that's what it's about. It's not meant to be about, I'm going to make a business that makes money. It's meant to be, I'm going to show people where to go, and those people are going to make them feel good, and those people are going to have a good time. It comes from a good value system.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good experience. So for any of the listeners there who've maybe not been into North Wales that much, especially a lot of my audience and community are either in South Wales or they're international. So anyone who wants to come to Wales and go on some tours of the local pubs, or anyone from South Wales who wants to get up to North Wales and enjoy sampling some nice ales with some top class food, I'm sure, in some lovely surroundings, get on the website and do something for somebody's birthday. Are they back running again now, or are they delayed a bit at the moment?
No, we made a decision not to do them because it's getting people on buses. I just thought, what if somebody catches corona and they're ill from it, and that will be me being irresponsible. So I think it was best that we didn't do them this year. We've organised them all for next year, so we've got all the dates for next year now.
Yeah,
and
okay.
So people, it's a bit of a shame, but
something to plan for next year, though, for people who've got maybe a big birthday coming up or something. Maybe it's a nice lads trip, or a dad and son, or couples trip. Sure, you get a few couple trips as well to do sampling. Some nice pubs, and their pubs on there that put entertainment on as well.
Yeah, some of them put live music on. Some of them put bands on. There's one in Snowdonia who has like bands on all day. It's brilliant. And then others, it's all about different pubs. Others is all about the ale, and it's no music. And sometimes I get the male Welsh choir come in and sing. But they're all very different. So you decide which one you want to stay. Some people don't want music in the pubs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be the one with the live music on. I think I like to go places where I can have a bit of a dance as well after a few drinks.
There's some places that do like a disco in the beer garden, you know, and it's full on. They've got like hog roast, they've got everything, and people love staying there. It's great. And then the quieter ones, I don't want to do that. That's not what we're about. We're about talking, and it's all different. That's a joy of it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I think pubs need that sort of boost. I think at the moment, especially a lot of them are struggling, and they were struggling before lockdown, and now because of lockdown, they're just really struggling. So it's a tough game.
Well, you're right. I did set it up because the smoking ban came in, and then also that about 10 years ago, the change of how you drank. So you didn't go to your local pub. You were able to buy cheaper alcohol in the supermarkets, which wasn't a thing then, which is now. So it stopped people going out midweek. So I think we still have up to 25 pubs close a week in the UK. So they were just dropping. And for a community in Wales, our small communities, that's somebody's, salary, isn't it? And the people around them, their salary, and the farmers and the beer people. So it was important that we tried to do something to protect and keep them running and help them promote. Because when you're running a business and there's just a couple of you, two of you, you're doing everything, aren't you? So to be able to market and promote is hard to do that when you're pulling a pint and trying to write an email and send a Facebook message out. So that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was for. It was like, we'll market, we'll bring people here. You make sure that you have a great time when they arrive, make them feel good, show them the food you do, get the beers out. They'll come back. Give them something good. They'll come back. Yeah,
but it's a sort of smaller tour version of like the Good Pub Guide or whatever, which again, they get a bit of publicity for some pubs as well. I think it's good to do anything you can to help these businesses, and I think a lot of the time they're too busy running their business to think outside the box and stuff, and it takes creative marketeers to come along and do something a little bit different for them and help give them the boost they need, and make it affordable for them as well, or like what you're doing. Do the pubs pay to be on the route? Does it cost them anything?
Yeah, we do, and because it's a really expensive event to run, and if it was left to just ticket sales, then it wouldn't run, so it wouldn't work. So we have to run it like a cooperative. So we all put money in to market it, so every venue gets marketed.
Yeah,
that's how it works. And because we're the ones that know how to market online, so we do it really well. So they get marketing for 6 months running up to the trail. So that's what it's about. It's the whole thing. This is the pub that we're going to. Put them on the map. They're going now, so people can see them. Makes exposure, isn't it? But I do also think that.
So if somebody's got a pub and it's quiet and they're struggling, then they basically get in touch with you, and then they can, if they're near to one of your tours, they could be an additional pub on that tour.
Yeah, we change the pubs all the time. Some pubs close, reopen, different management. So it moves. Sometimes we want to go in a different direction because the bus took too long to get round the corner, and it was cars parked, that kind of stuff. The villages were busy. So we change it all the time depending on what the trail was last time. So yeah, if you've got a pub, you want to be involved, then get in touch. But talking about marketing, I think marketing is an area that people don't maybe see it as like accountancy. You need an accountant, don't you? Yeah. You've got to have an accountant, and there's a structure in the accountancy. But I think for marketing, sometimes people don't see it as the same structure, and it's not a thing that they need to pay much attention to.
I think most businesses are naive to the fact that they think that if they put a couple of posts on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever, then that is going to drive traffic to their site. And what I think they're naive to the fact is that marketing as a responsive mechanism, if you like, is very low in numbers. You've got to tell a lot of people to get a small percentage to come to you, if you like.
Exactly.
So, they don't understand that, and they think I'm just going to do something once, I'll put a post on Facebook and that's going to change my business. That's going to send people in. But really what they got to understand is that they need to put that post on Facebook pretty consistently, pretty regularly, and make it attractive and give people reasons to respond to it and see it and, engage with it, etc. And if they're doing those sort of things, then they're going to get a better result. And it's a numbers game. And, it's like if you put a TV ad on, you're reaching millions of people. But if you put a Facebook ad on, you might only be reaching, if you've only got 25 friends or 300 friends, you're only reaching those 300 people, and only the percentage of people that actually see it out of those 300 people. So, it may only be 30 people out of your 300 friends that actually see that post. And then out of those 30 people, there might only be one person who's actually interested in the product or the service that you're posting about. So, that's the sort of number. So you have to reach out and speak to lots more people if you want to have a positive effect in the number of people coming to your business.
Definitely. I mean, for me to get 1,000 people to an event, I have to target 60,000. And I can't do that on 25 quid. It has to be a real business position, hasn't it? This is what you want, how much it's going to cost. This is, you have to really think about it strategically. But I went to a leadership program, and we were talking about all the different things, finance, marketing, all that kind of stuff. And there was the business leaders there from Wales. And I spoke to a couple, and I was sat next to one lady, and she said, "Oh, you should speak to my social media girl." She called her a girl. I don't know how old she was. And I was like, "Why is that?" "So you can do the marketing together." And I was like, "No, I should be talking to you. Not the social media person is a person that sends out their pre-made messages that relates to your business." So I think, you just thought straight away that I was like administrating something, not creating the plan that they follow, that it's connected to their business.
There's a lot of business people, older business people, maybe less now with the coronavirus and everyone going online. There's a lot of business people who have a marketing person, someone who does their social media. They usually call them a social media boy or a social media girl. And basically those social media people do whatever they want to on a day-to-day basis. And the business haven't got a clue what they do. They don't measure them on anything. They don't know what they're doing. And because they don't know social media, which is why they have a social media girl or a social media boy. And there are companies who don't have a social media girl or a social media boy because they do know a little bit about social media. But they don't really, again, measure what they're doing or have a strategy. They're just posting on social media. So I think, both of those models, I think, is wrong for me as a business owner and as an entrepreneur. I'm always interested in having enough information about anyone that I'm using to do anything for me to be able to at least measure what it is that they're doing. So, to me, you should always have a little bit of knowledge in something, even if you don't want to have the full knowledge in actually doing the service. You don't want to be able to do the service. You should be able to, implement a measuring system to be able to see what people are doing on your behalf. And just enough people do that. Enough people don't measure what's going on. And that's why I don't think they make improvements to what's going on. And it just keep doing the same thing because they're not measuring what works and what don't work.
So people think that they've got to put a post on social media. They've got to. And I'm like, well, why? Who's on your social media that you've got to put a post on? Don't know. Well, there you go. For instance, you don't know who's on your social media. And the fact that, the differences, I didn't know. It's one of those things, isn't it, that you come across. I presume accountants, when they talk to marketing people, they're like, these marketing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think always you have to start with an objective, create the strategy. The implementation of those Facebook posts must align to the objective. They must. And I would say not many people have that kind of business strategy within their business anyway.
No. Well, that's the thing, it all goes down to not enough business people plan things. So therefore, like I've seen so many business plans, and they have a sales and marketing section in their plan, and it basically says, we're going to sell to 50,000 customers or whatever, and that's the plan. That's the plan is I'm going to sell to X amount of people, but there's no plan of how to do that. It's just the plan is that's how many people are going to sell to. You're like, well,
it's a strange thing, isn't it? It's a strange thing. Luckily, there's good products. I had a client, a CCTV client, and he was like, I've struggled recently. Can we meet and talk about marketing? And so I went through the structure, and he was like, I don't know any of this stuff. And he was like, will you teach me how to do it? Because I've been trading 20 years without it. And we turned the direction of the company from what he wanted. He said it, right, I want to go there, right, this is how you do it. And so he changed it to a different audience that fitted much better. And the sales that are coming in, he's like, oh, I just wish I'd known this 20 years ago when I started.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the thing. And that's where I think, you need to work on the plan at the beginning of doing something. What is the plan? What am I trying to achieve? How am I going to go about it? What are the different routes available to me? Etc. And then you need to implement the plan and actually measure the plan and tweak the plan as per the measurements on what you predicted might happen and actually what the reality is and the difference between that prediction and that reality. And if you keep changing the plan and developing the plan, etc., and keep working the plan and analysing and measuring it, eventually you'll come to a watertight plan, that was predicted, planned for, measured, replanned for, remeasured, replanned for, and then perfected. And all of a sudden you got yourself a nice model to follow, and maybe to implement into other businesses or branches or whatever as you grow, But some people
I did talk about a target audience. So, who is your target audience? So I'm going to make this up. It's a technical manager in IT. That's a target audience. Okay. And what currently are you doing now? We've got posts on Facebook. Is your IT manager on Facebook? No. Right. That's a good example.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Where is he? If you have a look for IT technical managers in LinkedIn, for example, he's probably there.
Yeah, exactly. I think they might be there.
Yeah, or if you go to if you go to ittechnicalmanagersforum.com or whatever, there's probably loads of them there.
Loads of them there, yeah. And are they really the people that are buying? Actually, no. It's a business owner that decides to buy but gives the job over to IT, that kind of stuff. So understanding the psychology of your customer is key, which sounds a little bit flaky and fluffy marketing, but that's it. It's really easy.
Yeah, well, I used to have a strategy when I used to run a corporate sales team. We used to sell to the credit manager, the finance director, and the business owner, or the credit controller, the credit manager, and the finance manager, and the finance director, or whoever the different, because you'd have the user, the influencer, and the decision maker. So, what I always used to educate my team to do was, especially if you were sending an email, for example, you'd send an email to one or the other, and they wouldn't necessarily care, or you might send them, like if you were sending them an email, you'd send to the user, I'm going to provide you with this, we used to sell online credit checking systems, so you'd tell the user, we're going to give you a system that's easier to use. You tell the influencer, we're going to make all of your users happier because it's going to save them time, it's going to be efficient, it's going to be easy to use. And you tell the finance director, it's going to be more cost effective than what you've got in place at the moment, etc. Yeah, it's about tailoring the message and the story to whoever it is in the decision-making process and what they care about. And then don't individually speak to them one at a time, but send them an email with each other on it. And then the user, if for example you're telling the finance director I can save you a load of money, but the user's not interested in saving money, and you send it to him and you say I can save you a load of money, and he just deletes it and he's like, I'm not interested in saving money, I delete it. And there's no pressure on him from above to take that serious. Whereas you include the finance director, they say, listen, I'm going to give you a better system, it's easier to use, and it's going to save you money, by the way, and the finance director's CC'd in. And as the user, they can't just delete it and go, I'm going to ignore that, because they know the finance director's looking and he cares about saving money. So it's about thinking about the process and not just doing the process,
I was had a chat with somebody about, they've got a new product and they made a product without researching what people wanted. So they made a product and they asked me what, I know. Then they said, can you market it? And I was like, well, who's it for? Well, they didn't know. And I was like, I can't market it if I don't know. So we need to do some research about who, okay, then. So we have then a staff meeting with everybody there. And they say to me, we haven't got no time for research, we just need you to sell it. And I was like, to who? Well, you're the marketeer, you should know. And I was like, oh, that's
what was the project? What was the project?
It was like a sign in, sign out product, or like a little fob. And I was like, you can get those online, you know, why would you on an app? Who's using it? And yeah, it was like, well, you've been obstinate. And I was like, no, this is a real question.
Yeah, well,
just sell it, Shelly, just sell it.
That's where like engineers or IT people who are into, you know, the process but don't understand communication, language, markets, you know, business, etc. You know, you see them on Dragon's Den a lot of the time where they're like, oh, it's a, you know, it's a nice business for you, but it's not scalable because the market's not big enough. You develop, you know, you've solved a problem. Sometimes people over-engineer things sometimes. You solved a problem, yeah, this was a problem and you fixed it, but nobody's going to pay you money to fix that problem because the problem's not big enough. The problem's not big enough to warrant the spend.
Yeah. And so the conversation was like, you know, how did you get to this point? Why didn't your team tell you that this isn't the way to have gone? And they didn't, because they were like, well, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And I'm like, oh, I can't work like that.
Yeah, it's like somebody, you know, reinventing the fork with like, you know, a magnetic thing that you've got to put metal filings into the food so you can magnetically pick it up or something, like, you know.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so like they're thinking about the problem of, my peas keep slipping off my fork, so I'm going to fix it by being complicated and over-engineer something, and like, you could solve the problem of the peas slipping off the fork, yeah, but no one else is going to pay you for the problem because it's not that big a problem. So, you know, by the time you create that invention, it's going to cost like 100 quid or something, and a fork costs a £5, and it's not a 95 quid problem.
I know, but the opposite to this was that all you had to do was write the people's name down. So it was pen and paper. That was the solver, as opposed to technology that's going to fry people's brains and not work. And they were like, I just got pen and paper.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. So what sort of marketing clients is an ideal client for you?
An ideal client is probably a business that has a strategy and knows where they want to go. They haven't got a marketing department because they're not too big. They're usually micro businesses with a few people involved, and they need that department, but they can't have somebody, you know, on 40 grand a year just sitting there doing the marketing. So that's who we usually have, is we have people that want to dip in and out of marketing, have a plan and dip in and out throughout the year. So they save the cost of, you know, of having someone out all the time. So like, you know, if you're going to hire somebody on minimum wage, it's like what, 14, 16 grand, whereas you can hire us and get the director, the marketing manager and the Facebook and stuff all together. It's just a more sufficient way of doing things. You know? That's what I try and
that's exactly what I try and explain to people all the time. They can get somebody who's worth 40, 50, 60, 100 grand a year, but for 10, 20, 15, 20 grand a year.
Yeah.
And they won't get as many hours out of the person as the one on 15 grand a year, but the one on 15 grand a year will take 4 times as long to do the work that the one on 40, 50 grand a year would do. So in essence, you're getting the better quality work and you're getting it for less hours, but you're getting exactly, you know, more achieved in that less time.
Don't you think that also, because they don't know how to manage a manager, they don't know what messages and how, they don't know how to run a business in terms of the first school leaver. They don't know what to do, and so they will do it, and they don't get any training because that's not a skill that's in that business.
Yeah,
that's what I find. So I get lots of people that do training with me to go in, you know, they don't get the direction, so they struggle themselves and they just do what they think.
Yeah, and they end up getting, alienated, or they don't feel part of the business because they're not part of it because, you know, they're being employed by somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing, doesn't really know what they want. They're paying a basic wage, so they're not motivated by money to grow. They're not motivated by knowledge or training or passion, and they're just sort of said, you know, do your thing, like, you know what I mean? It's quite a lonely place, like, you know, for people who...
I didn't know. Did you know how to do stuff? When you first came out of college or whatever school, and you need a mentor, don't you? You need someone to like take you under the wing and go, right, this is the next training you're going to get for the next 5 years. It's really important. This is how you're going to make your career and your money, and this is how you're going to do really well for businesses. There isn't that. There you go. There's a computer. You play on Facebook all day. Off you go. It's like, I feel bad for people who have struggled for 3 years and got nowhere. It's like going backwards, isn't it? No skill.
No,
Yeah.
that's right. You tend to do well in the employment world once you have a boss who can, or somebody above you can guide you, train you, educate you, and teach
Yes.
you the skills. And so, just employing a 15, 16 grand a year, straight out of college person, but not being that person. So actually the benefit of employing a 40, 50, 60, 100 grand a year person to do the work for you is that you don't need to manage them as well. So not only are they doing this more work in less time, but they don't need
Yeah.
more of your time. But in order for
Yeah.
you to make a 15 grand a year person pay, you've got to invest a lot of your time. So actually, just taking on one 15 grand a year person doesn't pay its benefits because you're losing more of your time, which means whatever you're doing to produce money for the business is dropping, which means that that money is costing you money. Whereas you outsource it to somebody else, it doesn't cost you money because you can still concentrate on what you're doing. So it's actually so it could be a negative effect on your business to
I
employ
think
one person. You need to have a few people in your business first to make it pay, to make that
so.
those you can employ somebody to be the mentor for the younger people. They can bring those younger people through, and then you actually get the value out of those younger people as they develop and grow and turn into
Yeah.
more
I think
mature.
you're right. I had a conversation, someone who called me up saying, this is what I want. And they said, what I want is just to be able to say to you, put this on social media. This, I need you to write that for me. And I was like, that's not me. And you probably need a journalist if that's what you want. If it's just about writing, like, well, no, come and have a chat. But that's what they thought marketing was. Now,
Yeah.
so the questions I asked them about the business, they weren't able to talk about because they hadn't had those meetings or thoughts. So it was a complete waste of money, complete waste having someone put this on Facebook when their clients aren't on Facebook.
No, you should have just told them to buy an admin person. Just get an
I
admin.
did. I said, you don't need me. I'm trying to think for you and come up with ways whereby your target audience will buy from you. So, you make money, not just write on a, yeah.
Yeah, not just operate your admin, But that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of admin people doing social media marketing now because it is just it's an admin task. The actual posting is an admin task, but what you're posting, that's a little bit more difficult. There's a bit more thought process go into that.
Yeah. I
Yes,
find it quite exciting, the whole social media thing, because the amount of creativity you've got at your fingertips that you can attract people with. You can do anything, can't you? You can make it look, you can say anything, you can do the advert, you can do video, you can make it look really stimulating.
yeah.
And that's the creativity is what you want, isn't it, from somebody?
Yeah, what's your preferred social media of choice
For what?
for, I suppose, your marketing business and for the ale trails?
For ale trails, it is Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
Completely. And even though our target audience is men, and I would say men are on Twitter more looking at the football scores and stuff, 50% of the people who buy from us are females for their husbands, but
Yeah.
it's like 90% male, the event. So target audience who we're targeting doesn't always mean it's the right one who are buying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Facebook for the ale trails, and what for your own marketing business and your own marketing? What was your platform of choice?
So it's more about LinkedIn and personal stories about LinkedIn, isn't it, to get the connections. I don't think people are really that interested in going to a marketing company's Facebook to have a look at what they're writing. And don't you find a lot of people are like, oh, we've got great news, we've just got a new client. I mean, no one is interested, are they? It's just a big boasting platform, isn't it? So,
I
yeah.
did have someone watch me for a while on Facebook and then come to me and I got a big contract out of it. So
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah, but that's rare. But yeah, that has happened to me.
I
I
think
got
people
quite
check it out, don't they?
yeah. Well, I think people are customers, as far as I'm concerned, marketing customers. They're comfortable in. Most people are comfortable in one platform, and whichever that platform is the platform that they're comfortable in. So for me, my thought process is always is to be in as many platforms as possible to try and, obviously you have priority platforms. LinkedIn is, because I do more B2B marketing than anything else, LinkedIn is always
Yeah.
more a priority than others. I did use Twitter for a long time and probably to the detriment of other stuff. And that worked really, really well for a while. But then LinkedIn started changing, some of its rules and algorithms and stuff. But yeah, I think LinkedIn, if you're B2B, LinkedIn is always going to be the #1 platform. And if you're B2C, Facebook is probably the better platform, unless you're innovative, creative, or whatever, where maybe Instagram, maybe, you know.
Yeah, like a florist, or even like, you know, accommodation or anything to do with photography, isn't it? Instagram's
Yeah,
brilliant for, but
yeah,
understanding how Instagram gets you the sale is what's key,
yeah.
isn't it?
Sort of like, travel, health,
Yeah,
fitness, all the cool kids are on Insta. So if you've got a cool kid brand, then yeah, you know, then Insta's the place for it. So obviously for me being in digital marketing, same as yourself, I've got to be in all of them really, because I got to know how to use each of them for my clients best, So I use all of them. I haven't quite mastered TikTok yet because as far as I can see, TikTok, you either got to be a magician or you got to be a dancer, or you got to be able to do parkour. That's pretty much TikTok. I think summed up in those three things. And I can either do. Well, actually, I did parkour before parkour existed when I was a kid, because I used to be climbing on railings and up trees. I used to do all sorts of jumping, from one thing to another. I was just an active kid, So I did parkour before I even knew parkour existed. And actually,
you wear it.
I was the inventor of it, not this French guy that I've seen on the telly that they say he was him.
Yeah.
Parkour. I was doing it in Wales, and it was just called like wall hopping. Yeah,
Not anymore though. You break a leg now.
yeah, probably. Things. The distance still seems doable, but the legs can't get the distance.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I can jump that. Oh no, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Also, I think I do a lot of contracts with like the local councils or the government kind of agencies, and I think they check you out to see you don't know. So it's good for secondary for them to go and have a look. And they're still active, yeah. This is what they do. So I think it's more for me for that kind of thing. I don't do Facebook to get clients. I do it as a supporting to see what communications that we're all working on.
Yeah, well, because I like helping people, and I'm big into network in the community. I use quite a lot of my social media platforms for promoting other people, contacts and connections of mine.
I think that's a really nice thing to do. I think if you can do that, to be able to say, so and so has done this, and if you want so and so, this is the person to go to. I think it's really nice. Really hard to promote yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, I got a Welsh brand. I got a Welsh Biz brand, so I got a Welsh Biz page on Facebook and a Welsh Businesses group on Facebook, and I got a Welsh Biz page on LinkedIn. And at the moment, I'm part of a LinkedIn pod as well. I run a LinkedIn pod and a WhatsApp group for Intrabiz members mostly, and we all post every day at 9 o'clock, and then grab the links, put it into the WhatsApp group, and we all like and comment on each other's posts, and they go viral then, If it gets done within the first hour, it goes viral. And then I grab the link and I put them on my Welsh Biz blog as well. And then I market my Welsh Biz blog on my MA Consultancy company page. So it's just extra places where they can market them. And for me, I'm always looking to build my own audiences up anyway. So the more variety of content I've got, the better I can build up my own audience. So I get a benefit off it as well, but I'm helping them at the same time.
Yeah, if everyone had that. I mean, I just think if it was that simple, where just 10 of you, like my sister has a little cheese shop that has Welsh cheese in it and also international cheese, and that's all she does is cheese, and it's tiny, this shop, and it's in a local community, and it's not like it's like Barry or it's Penarth where there's lots of people live there. It's like 700 people live there. And she was saying, I wonder if I can get everybody on the street just to repost what each other are doing, just so people, you share the database, share the love on your Facebook, just like something really simple like that.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, what she could do, what I would do if I had that shop, is I would form. I would. What was it?
Eat a lot.
Oh, I would eat a lot of cheese. Yeah, I like cheese. No, I would form like a group for the village. Yeah. So something like like Cheeses of Nazareth, right? Yeah, the Cheeses of Narberth. Yeah, that's a business there. Cheeses of Narberth. Narberth is in Southwest Wales. If there's not a Cheeses of Narberth, I'm inventing it. cheeses of Narberth. But anyway, I would invent cheeses of wherever she lives, Amroth or whatever, Ruthin, cheeses of Ruthin group, yeah. Connect with all of the people from the village on her private account, and then invite them to like the group, and then stick on there like offers of cheeses or whatever. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
So just set a community group up and put your deals in there and do little sample giveaways now and then when you got a new cheese in or whatever. I'm doing an open day in the store if anyone wants to eat my cheeses.
Well, she's opened up Cheese Lovers of North Wales.
Oh, is it? Cheese Lovers of North Wales. Well, there we are. That's all she needed to do. Cheeses is.
She was trying to do like she was trying to get the road closure so everyone could do like outside, in tables and make it lovely for people to come in. No one wants to do it, so she's doing it on her own. She's got her own cheese table outside.
Oh,
cheese table of her own.
Cheeses and crackers.
Yeah.
She's made crackers on her own having a cheese party.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we are. And so how do people connect with you on socials anyway, if they want to get in touch?
Oh, LinkedIn to connect with me.
Yeah, okay.
I'm on Facebook and Twitter.
The web address?
Sorry?
And the web address, you give the Ale Trail address, didn't you? But your web address?
Is koyamarketing.co.uk.
Yeah. Where did that come from, Koya?
It just means beautiful. Koya in a different language, Japanese.
Japanese.
Pardon?
In Japanese.
Yeah, in Japanese. Because I was thinking about what I wanted to create, and I wanted to create a place where everyone was respectful and enjoyed each other's company, and really did well for each other. So it was, it had harmony in the company, and it was about growing and making sure that we had jobs that we could continue with, and it was about making a really lovely culture. So it's enjoyable going to work, and we work on really good things, and we get inspired by it. So
yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's it's good when you work for businesses that your values align with.
Yeah, it's got to have something, hasn't it?
Yeah, for me, like I tend to pick businesses that I'm interested in, that I would use myself, I'm passionate about, whatever, because I think if you're going to do marketing or sales or whatever, strategies, if you're going to come up with good strategies, if you believe in the product, exactly, you're going to come up with better strategies. And if you like the product and you're a fan of the product or whatever, then it's much easier to market products and services that you're a fan of, rather than trying to sell and market stuff that you're just like, well, why would anyone want that anyway?
I did some work experience in some PR companies, and I was just starting out because I thought I need to learn more as I was doing my degree. So, and one of my first work experience jobs was to write a press release for a lathe machine. I didn't even know what that was. And this lathe machine made legs for chairs or tables. And they're like, okay, you write a press release. And I was like, I don't know what to write about it. It was like the most boringest thing. I was like, yay, I got a PR work experience. And I was like,
And I'm struggling. I'm very creative. I'm struggling to find the angle.
I did. And I really struggled with it. I didn't know what to write. And then that's why you need someone to help you. Like, okay, let's have a look at the product. Let's have a look who buys it. Where's it need to go?
Like it's sturdy and dependable.
Lathe machine. And then the same company, they had an architect firm, and I was like, oh wow, amazing architects. And they made this wooden staircase, and they were like, okay, here's your second job, write about the wooden staircase. And I was still like, oh, help.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you just don't know what to do you? So that's why you do need a bit of mentoring in the start to understand where I didn't know I was speaking to an audience and where they were. No. But obviously, Architect Weekly loved it.
Okay, maybe I have to dig it out. Is it online? Can I Google search it?
I was like, do I get a tray and film myself like shooting down the stairs? Or like, no, that's not what we're asking.
I think all you needed to do with that is get a few pictures of the staircase in some lovely houses and write about that. Write about how it made a difference to the feel of the house or the entrance hall, how grand it made the entrance hall as it took the view, whatever.
I know, I was like, struggling. Actually, I think think we talked about how the importance of the wood in the environment, and you know, how it made the house a passive house. And but I would have known. I just did not have the knowledge when I, you know. That was the whole point of work experience, though. But they thought I was pretty shocking. They were like, oh, I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right then. Well, I think I've taken enough of your time now. I know we had a good chat, and I'm sure we both could talk marketing and trails
Bores, marketing bores.
and all sorts of stuff forever. But we both got a life to lead, so to lead even. So yeah, thanks very much. To lead, I meant, and yeah, thanks very much for coming on the podcast and for sharing information about what you're doing and your trails.
Thanks for the invitation. That was nice of you.
Yeah, no problem at all. And yeah, look forward to staying in touch on socials and joining your Facebook group and all of that, and sharing some knowledge about tourism in the various places I go to.
Absolutely.
And maybe I might end up on a trail sometime when they
I think you will. April. I think it's a 10th in the Vale of Glamorgan. We can pick you up in Barry.
Okay, yeah, sounds like a plan. All right then. Well, have a great day, and yeah, I'll catch up with you on social sometime soon, no doubt.
Lovely. Great to speak to you.
All the best. Bye bye.